What will be a fun time is us finishing last in the league and still not winning the lottery. It's going to happen. Before we can continue on, we need to set up our roster after stripping it down to a bare parts situation. We're going to drop Corey Hirsch down to the AHL. He'll be the starter there. Defensively, honestly, it's probably fine. Right? Or do we call up the kids and let them get their first taste of NHL experience? You know what? It might benefit us. It might. So you guys aren't going to be affected by waivers. Sandis Ojelins, Carl Dykhouse. Ragnarsson's going to go up. We'll keep Link Gates on the team. Peterson's ready to go. Actually, you know what? Dykhouse can go back down. But Sandis Ojelins is going to get his first opportunity at the NHL level. Honestly, Rob Zettler can get the call up. There we go. And then should put Link Gates as the healthy scratch. Right side. Oh, boy. Right. You know, it's not the worst time to give Darren McCarty an opportunity. So let's indeed give Darren McCarty an opportunity at the NHL level. I don't know for sure what we're gonna do at center here, but we're gonna take a look. Again, down in the AHL for us. Nobody major. Craig Johnson at 20? That's not bad. David Malley there. Honestly, Kozlov and Whitney getting a chance now makes quite a bit of sense, so we'll send down Johnson. I said, I am not afraid to give some of these younger guys an opportunity here at the end of the season. We're not going to have like any natural centers at the AHL level, but that is okay. Again, for the AHL, let's see. Dwayne Joyce, you're not bad. Coleman doesn't really have any potential. Kolstad, you're not going to get any better, so let's get Ragnarsson in there. Play him on that top line for the rest of the year. Top pair, that is. And then forwards, nobody scratched that I care about. Cool. So for the NHL, okay, the scratches are as I wanted it. Play Odgers on the fourth line, Darren McCarty on the third. The centers will just be as the centers are. Garpenloff, Whitney, Kozlov, that's not bad. Defense, we need Ozelinsh on that top line. And honestly, that works. It's obviously not a great defense. It's a bunch of third-pairing defensemen, but that should work out just fine. So again, the Sharks, we still got some tanking to do. Down in the AHL with our lovely Kansas City Blades. They actually had a decent record so far this year. Again, there's only two divisions, the North and the South. The top 8 teams from each division make the playoffs. So right now the Blades are in contention to be a playoff team. We'll see if it stays that way. Again, in real life, AHL, they had 3 divisions. You cannot do that in Custom League. So we're just having to make the best of it. Please finish dead last. Please win the lottery. I need a Paul Correa or a Chris Pronger. I'll take Marty St. Louis, too. Don't get me wrong. How did we beat you? What? We can't even tank right. We beat the Maple Leafs 8-1 and have not lost since the deadline where our number one center is a 75 overall. Okay. We just shut out the Bruins. We finally lose our first game of the month. Ray Whitney gets hurt. Oh, no. Maria, San Luis, Pronger, Koivu, a generated dude named Christie, who I won't go for even if he's available, because fuck him. All right, there we go. Now we're starting to lose some games. Whitney's back. We can get the old Parfait out of the lineup. But, wow, the power of Sandis Ojolinsh. Apparently, yeah. We have 6 games left this year. We have 25 wins. Is it even possible for us to finish dead last anymore? The 4 playoff teams of our division have been decided. Vancouver, LA, Calgary, and Winnipeg, a.k.a. Arizona. And the other Western Conference, a.k.a. the Campbell Conference team. In the Norris Division, St. Louis is very close to locking up that spot. Again, there's no wild card spot. It's just the top 4 teams of each division. Pittsburgh have likely locked up the President's Trophy. Oh my God. We are still ahead of Edmonton, Philly, and Toronto on points percentage. That's not good. That's not good. And we're only 2 points back of Detroit. This could be a disaster. Should we continue to win games here in our final 6? We play a very good Minnesota North Stars team. And we beat them. We play a phenomenal Pittsburgh team. Ah! No! Are they resting Lemieux? The fuck? Are you kidding me? Our top center is a 75, man. And we just beat the Penguins. I blame Snipe and Score. Yeah, you're right. I should. Edmonton. This is a massive game. We have to lose this. Thank God. We beat Pittsburgh, but then lose to Edmonton. Jesus. We play Montreal twice and then Edmonton again. Montreal is another loss. Thank God. I can't believe this, man. I can't believe this. We're still 4th. Again, 84 games in the regular season in this era. We are not going to pass Detroit. We will finish bottom 5, but that is a disaster if we finish 4th or 5th, because obviously we could be jumped quite easily. We have to lose our remaining 2 games, and we'll finish below Washington on tiebreaker. But we have finished ahead of Toronto and Philadelphia. So at best, it's bottom 3. At worst, we're going to finish between 3, 4, and 5. So it's pretty obvious what the best case scenario is, what the worst case scenario is. Oh my God. Okay. Edmonton. We have to lose this. Thank you. And the final game is against Montreal. This has not gone according to plan. The Pittsburgh Penguins have won the President's Trophy. The San Jose Sharks finished 21 of 24. How on earth were there 3 teams worse than us? The Caps with Iafrate and his Skullet. Peter Bondra, Mike Ridley. Oh my God. We didn't want to look at the Devils next. We wanted to look at Toronto. This was the year the Toronto Maple Leafs went to the Final Four. And if you ask Leafs fans of that era, they should have made it to the Cup Final. Yet somehow a team with Felix Potvin and Doug Gilmour leading the way finished lower than we did. And the Philadelphia Flyers, with Eric Lindros and Rod Brindamore, finished dead last. Not to mention Mark Recchi, who is the highest rated player on the team, but still, that is insane. We had the worst offense in the league. We were the only team to average under 3 goals for per game. The problem was our goals against wasn't in the super bottom tier. It was mid-table. Our defense and goaltending was okay. And that's what screwed us. We had the worst power play in the league. Our penalty kill was bottom 6. It's just our defense and goaltending was a little bit better than we needed them to be. Relative to the rest of the league. It still wasn't good. Pat Falloon led the team in points with 59. He had 30 goals at age 20. That's great news. Johan Garpenloff, 54 points. I mean, he's going to be a great playmaker for us. 50 points, 33 goals for Gaudreau. Kozlov had 15 points in 22 games. That's very good. Very, very good for Vyacheslav. Darren McCarty, 7 points in 22 games. Whitney, 7 in 16. And then defensively, I mean, Ozelinsh was actually really good. He had 13 points in 22 games. Outstanding. Goaltending, around 900, which at the time was pretty goddamn good. Also, with auto-rotate on, Urbe still played 72 games. That is outrageous. Wow. Around the league, Pat LaFontaine. Rest in peace, RJ. Pat LaFontaine, phenomenal. 134 points. He and Dale Hawerchuk and the third member of the line, Alex Mogilny, tore the league apart for the Buffalo Sabres. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. You had Lemieux up there on 116, Gretzky, Mike Gartner, Steve, as again, Steve Yzerman. Way to go, Bill Clinton. Kevin Stevens was up there for the Pens, Messier, Francis, Dino Cicerelli, Mike Modano, Yager, Sundin, Michel Goulet, Doug Gilmour. Dude, Doug Gilmour had 105 points on the team that finished last in the league. That is genuinely impressive. Pierre Turgeon was over 100. Joe Sakic, Jeremy Roenick, Cliff Ronning, Pavel Bure, Craig Janney, and Brett Hull finished just under 100 points. Top goal scorer was Teemu Selanne with 67. Brett Hull on 63. Roenick on 62. And an over 50, LaFontaine, Bure, Claude, and Mario Lemieux. Cam Neely played the full season. Cam Neely played the full season. Cam Neely played the full season. Cool. Kevin Stevens also over 50 goals. Modano, Gartner, Mogilny, Rick Tocchet. Defensively, top point getter. Wow. So Phil Housley, Al McInnes, Brian Leach, and Paul Coffey all at least a point per game. Bork was just under. And Scott Stevens might have made it had he not missed a couple of games. 39 goals for Al McInnes. 30 for Brian Leach, 23 for Ray Bork. Kevin Hatcher, Paul Coffey, and Gary Suter also hit at least 20, which is outrageous. For goaltenders, the winningest Tom Barrasso in Pittsburgh. No real surprise there. The shutout king with 5 was Sean Burke for the Hartford Whalers. Tom Beaupre was up there too. Patrick Waugh. Top goaltender for starters, at least for a save percentage, was John Casey of the North Stars with a 911. So again, anything over a 905, you were pretty much elite. And everyone counts as a rookie, essentially. So Mogilny at 24 will technically win it. And again, they played 84 games in real life in this particular season. So, 'twas the style at the time. The PIM leader was Marty McSorley, so at least that's accurate. Lyle Odeline was up there, and Dale Hunter. Hit leader for the hell of it, Pat Verbeek. When does it drop to 82? Well, in this reality, it never will. 42 fights for Marty McSorley. Doug Smolik with 34. Jesus, Link Gates had 20. Bob Probert with 19. It is a fighters league. When did it drop down to 82? Am I Google to you? Look it up, you lazy bastards. All right, our AHL team unsurprisingly made the playoffs. So it'll be Kansas City against Atlanta. We can pay attention to Kansas City. But playoffs, you have Minnesota, the North Stars, technically, and Tampa, which, again, is funny because of what the divisions were at the time. So we have Chicago versus St. Louis, Dallas versus Tampa in a future Stanley Cup final, Vancouver and Winnipeg, Los Angeles and Calgary, Boston and Hartford, Montreal, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders, the Rangers, and the Devils. That is the Season 1 playoffs. Again, in division to start, 1 versus 4. Thankfully, we're able to properly replicate that. So, let's see what happens. We'll follow along with the AHL, but again, we're not too attached to Kansas City yet. Ooh, we should be, though. Will my players end up with negative morale for playing in the Calder Cup playoffs? They might. But that is a chance I am willing to take. That is a chance I am willing to take. At least if they are not listed as having an NHL role as of now. So let's just call up these dudes because we know they're not going to play. We can send Darren McCarty down for Edward. Odgers will stay up. Injuries are on. Morale is off. Whitney and Kozlov will go down for DePalma and Wood. And in the centers, I mean, there's nobody that we really care about playing center. Except for these two. Okay. So we'll try to make the AHL team be as stacked as they can be. Get Kolstad out of there for Ragnarsson and McLeod for Carl Dykhouse. Oslin will be in. All right. Yeah, that AHL team's looking pretty good. Get Jonas Hoagland in there. There we go. Let's get those guys some valuable experience in Kansas City. And see if they can get a little comeback here against Atlanta. They win the next game 6-1. That's not bad. Down 2-1 in the series. Down 3-1 in the series. Now down 3-2. All right. And unfortunately, our AHL team, the Kansas City Blades, are out in round number 1. All right. Let's take a look at the NHL playoffs. What roster is this? This is Snipe and Scores 92-93 rosters. If you're on Xbox, that's the man you want to talk to. So, let's see. Round 1, St. Louis pulls off the upset of Chicago. The Minnesota North Stars knock out Tampa Bay. Vancouver over Winnipeg. LA over Calgary. Boston over Hartford. Montreal over Buffalo. Pittsburgh swept the New York Islanders. And the Rangers survived the Devils in Game 7. So it will be Blues and North Stars. Canucks, Kings, Bruins, Habs, Penguins, Rangers in the quarterfinals. Let's see what happens from there. I love that it gives us a different playoff tree when you're using Custom League, by the way. Yeah, just makes it feel different enough. Let's see. All right, we should be off to the semis, and we are. So the quarterfinals saw St. Louis pull off another upset as they knocked out the top 2 seeds from the Norris division. They will be taking on the LA Kings. So Blues, Kings, Bruins, and Rangers as the Habs and the number 1 seed Penguins are eliminated. We're down to the final 4. It's Brett Hall and company on the Blues against Wayne Gretzky's Kings. Bork, Neely, and the Bruins against Mark Messier, Brian Leetch, and the New York Rangers. I will obviously be rooting for the Boston Bruins in this timeline. But this might be the opening that the Kings needed to win themselves a Stanley Cup. They are up 3-1 on the Blues. And indeed, it will be an LA-Boston final in 1993. The Bruins make it there instead of the Habs as both series ended in 5 games. Boston and Los Angeles for the 1993 Stanley Cup final. As again, this Bruins roster, Juneau, Oates, Neely, Dave Poulin. They acquired Peter Klima at the deadline. Defensively, though, is where they shine. Glenn Wesley. And they're still playing Ray Bork on the second pair with Don Sweeney. And in goal, Andy Moog, who is currently injured. The LA Kings, though, also a hell of a roster. Kelly Rudy in goal. All 5'10" of them. Robitaille, Gretzky, Curry, Jimmy Carson, Sandstrom. I mean, if the Kings don't win this, right? Defense, Charlie Huddy, Rob Blake, Daryl Sador, Alexei Zhitnik, Marty McSorley. Oof. I imagine the Kings are going to win this one. Bruins take game 1. Kings take game 2. Kings take game 3. Bruins take game 4. Kings are 1 win away. Bruins force game 7. The Boston Bruins have won a Stanley Cup with Ray Bork, if only. If only. Gretzky falls in the 93 final, no matter what. The Boston Bruins have themselves a Stanley Cup in the Ray Bork era. Thank God. Imagine the Bruins beating the Kings in the 93 Cup final instead of the Habs. Oh, life would be so much better. Well, if you had to guess, Adam Oates is going to win the Conn Smythe, although Cam Neely scored 21 goals, and it was the big names that really delivered for the Bruins. How do Bruins fans feel about Bork winning one? Everyone was just happy that he won one. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If I'm not mistaken, there was a mini parade in Boston when Ray Bork won. If I'm not mistaken. I don't recall if that was urban legend or if that was actually true, but that's what I always heard growing up. I mean, I was 7 at the time, so my memory is a bit dodgy, but yeah, people were overjoyed that he won one. That, at the very least, is a fact. So, shout out to the 93 Bruins. Let's take a look at the awards. Pat LaFontaine wins the Art Ross. Who's McDavid? Never heard of him. Dale Hawerchuk. You know what? We got to play the song. We got to play the song for Dale Hawerchuk. For those of you who don't know the song, literally on Spotify, it's a band called Le Dale's Hawerchuk with the song Dale Hawerchuk, the greatest hockey song of all time. We got Al McInnes winning the Norris, which isn't surprising at all. Lady Bing goes to LaFontaine. Mogilny won the Calder. Put him in the fucking Hall of Fame, you fucking idiots. Adam Oates wins the Conn Smythe. Ken Reggett won the Vezina. Okay. Brasso won the Jennings. Masterton to Curtis Joseph. Goalies can win the Masterton. Okay. It normally doesn't happen. Hartford's coach won the Jack Adams. Adam Oates wins the Selke. Ted Lindsay Award to Dale Howard-Chuck. And the Rocket Richard to Teemu Salani. In the AHL, I don't know who Shabbat is, but he was the regular season top point scorer. Hakan Lube was the AHL's league MVP. Alexei Yashin scored the most goals. Name Bobak. That would be it. Dude, he'd get memed to death modern day. No idea who Faneve is. Chris Osgood, though, won best goaltender. And a dude named Lafreniere was the MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs. So there you go. Don't ask me if he has any relation. I don't fucking know. What I do know is we're about to not win the lottery, which could be devastating. We cannot fall out of the top 4. I really don't want to draft a non-real dude 5th. You know? So if we end up 5th, I'm trading back to get somebody else. Hope and pray we land top 4. Ideally, I'd prefer top 3, but man, Saku Koivu at a high 6 is a pretty good silver medal. We need top 3. We need top 3. This game, and in fairness, I understand why this game hates me, because I would say I talk a lot of trash, but that's not the right T word. I talk a lot of truth. However, we have fallen to 5th. That is, that's rough. Thank you, Zombie, for a resub, and, Washington, Detroit, Philly, Toronto, then San Jose. That post-deadline winning streak absolutely screwed us. Only 3 players retire, and they're holdovers from obviously the IRL roster that just happened to be there, so that's not surprising. Oh, man. All right. Well, let's see what we can do. We got to try to land on our feet here. Does anybody in the top 4 want to trade? Detroit wants to trade the pick. Detroit, let's talk. Let's talk. I would love to trade up to the top 2. I don't know if we'll have the value to do it. We're going to have to do it manually. But we can at least trade up to get a top 2 pick. Thank God. So we'll use our 5th overall, because otherwise we have nobody valuable enough to pull off this trade. It is a must. Ooh, Ragnarsson did get better. We can spare Ragnarsson, though. We can. I mean, if this results in us getting Chris Pronger, we can spare Ragnarsson. We'll take Bobby Dallas from you guys. Shh. Alex, if it's you, that's awesome. I was tempted, but real life got in the way. So I think from here, probably going to have to be a draft pick. Or it can be Craigwell, but then I'd still have to add somebody else. 5th overall and Marcus Ragnarsson. Not enough. That's okay. We picked up all those extra selections. What about a 4th rounder from us? What about a 3rd rounder from us? Quite far off in value. Shit. What if we do a 3rd and a 4th? There it is! Thanks to the Detroit Red Wings. We have to give up a couple of picks. We had to give up Marcus Ragnarsson, which sucks because I do think he could have made it. The question is, who will the Caps take at number 1? That will leave us either Paul Kariya, Martin St. Louis, or Chris Pronger to build around. Detroit now also wants to trade the 5th, so I might try to trade back up to 5 if the real dude goes before Saku Koivu. The Washington Capitals select Paul Correa. 73 overall, high elite. Paul Correa. That would have been nice. That would have been nice. So for us, it's either Marty or Pronger. We got Marty on the right wing side. Our scouts didn't scout him at all. Right side, we have Falloon, we have Bure. It has to be Pronger. It has to be. Sorry to Philly, but you're not getting your man earlier. It has to be Chris Pronger to build around on the back end. It's got to be. Oh, hey, it's Deek's intro, so let's go. Twitch.tv/DeekSlayer, of course. Let's see. Pronger, NHL ready. Yep, it's Pronger. It's Chris Pronger. Whew! Jesus, Snipe. What the hell are you cooking with these rosters? He's a medium elite, not a high elite, but he's 10 overall points better. Chris Pronger. The leader on the Sharks' blue line. He is immediately our best defenseman. Holy God. Thank you, Detroit. Jesus Christ. If Detroit ended up with him, with Lidstrom. Whoo-wee. All right. I did not think he'd be 10 points better, but there you go. Chris Pronger. Korea didn't debut until 94-95. That's fair. I'm not saying it's an unfair way to do it. I'm thankful. The Philadelphia Flyers at 3 select Saku Koivu. They didn't take Marty. The Flyers take Saku Koivu. Dude, if the Leafs take that generated defenseman, we'll be able to trade up and get Marty at 5. Koivu's on his way to the Flyers, 66 overall at 18, high top 6. Will the Leafs also be dumb enough? Ah, whoa, okay, that's why. I know why Snipe did it that way. It's because Marty took a little bit, right? He went through college and everything and then left. 56 overall high elite from Martin St. Louis. He was a late bloomer. There's logic behind Snipe's decision-making there. I still would have loved to have ended up with him at 5th overall. But there was no trading with the Leafs. We just don't have the value. We need that team to want to trade the pick. So that is your top 4. We hit a home run in terms of getting the best overall player in Chris Pronger. And the Flyers went with a guy who's not going to take as long to be ready. But Marty has a higher ceiling. So at 5, I imagine Detroit will take that generated defenseman. We're going to be looking at number 7 from Colorado. The Red Wings take the generated dude, Christie. Again, I can't stop the game from generating players. The Edmonton Oilers at 6 take Jason Arnott. Oh my God, 82. He's ready right out of the gates. Medium 6, 82 for Jason Arnott. God damn. God damn. All right, Colorado, let's talk. And if not you, it's Winnipeg/Arizona. Colorado, let's talk. I mean, come on, you already have fucking Sakic, Sundin, and Forsberg. Let's talk. You don't need this pick. I'm going to have to do it manually. Shit. Will we have the value to do it manually? I don't know if we will. We definitely wouldn't have had the value to do this trade without it. Sorry, I skipped the banging on a trash can of St. Anger. I'm sorry, I couldn't. I gotta focus. I can't laugh about Lars Ulrich's drumming at a time like this. Okay? Again, our value is fucking gone. I don't want to get rid of Goodrow. He had such a good season, but he's going to be replaced on that right side by Bure eventually, but it doesn't have to be now. But then again, if we are going to go with Bure eventually, Goodrow's pretty much hit his ceiling. This is about as valuable as he's going to get. now is probably the time to use him. God, I only have a minute. Give me Tuttle. I don't necessarily want to get rid of Goodrow, but there's just no way he's going to make sense long term. What if we use Detroit's second? So Goodrow in a second for the 7th overall, a third, and Tuttle? What if we take off the third? Still quite far off, so the only way we're getting this done is with Goodrow. What if we throw in a 4th? There it is. We had to give up Goodrow to do it. I think I'm okay with that because, again, he was a medium 9. He wasn't going to get any better, really, than he is now. He's going to fucking thrive on that team, and now they have so much of a logjam on that right side. I mean, the guy was a 30-goal scorer this year. It's a tough player to give up. But we know long-term we're aiming to build that right side around Pat Falloon and Bure. I think it was the right decision. I hope. Let's make it be the right decision. So, anybody who knows me and has been a fan of this channel for a while knows that I am a massive fan of Adam Deadmarsh for no reason in particular. He was just one of my favorite players. 2 years out, Brad Marchand comparison. That's pretty on point. Unconfirmed abilities. There's Kenny Johnson. 1 year out, no abilities. Jason Allison, future Bruins captain. 2 years out, confirmed tape to tape and big rig, and he's a center. And we need centers. Victor Kozlov. And then a complete unknown for us this year in Miroslav Shatan. Ryan McCabe, Prospel. We could take the risk on Deadmarsh. Trade a right wing to get a younger right wing would be what that deal ended up becoming. Or we take a center in Jason Allison because we don't have a goddamn center. And what that comes down to is whether or not we can get Winnipeg/Arizona to trade their pick so that we can get Deadmarsh and Allison, and then we're out of this draft. So we still have that second round pick. Do we have the extra added value to trade up one more time? Second and a 4th isn't enough. What about a 2nd and a 5th? I mean, we'll leverage the entirety of this draft if we have to. What if we use the rest of our picks outside of the 7th? They said it's close. Take out the 7th this year, add another 5th next year. Take out the 6th. Add in a 4th next year. Second round pick this year, 2 4ths, 2 5ths. There it is. So we're going to finish this draft with picks number 2, 7, and 9. So with this 7th pick, it would have been trading Goodrow for a younger model, Adam Deadmarsh, which I'm hoping will work out. I just don't know how good Schneip made Miro Shatan. I'm honestly kind of worried about how good or bad did he make Deadmarsh. Bertuzzi, Soleil, Timonen. I mean, there are, and of course, Alex Degas in this draft. It's not worth trading outside of the top 25. 25 is technically a second round pick. Really quickly. Obviously not worth it. I just want to do my due diligence here and double check that there's not a potential blockbuster as a possibility. You know, Broughton, but he's 33. Brian Ralston's guarantee. Deadmarsh might be better, though. Ralston's not bad. Renberg on Philly isn't bad. Marcus Naslund. I love Adam Deadmarsh, but being able to trade one of these picks to get Marcus Naslund instead, I think that's a must-do trade. The Penguins are willing to deal Marcus Naslund signing rights. It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. And like Ridley and Hunter are both good, but they're older. We're not ready yet. So if we were to get Naslund, again, the right side without Deadmarsh, long-term is Falloon, Bure, and hopefully McCarty. Left side is Garpenloff, Whitney, and Kozlov, so we don't really need Naslund, but that would allow us to then deal somebody else, potentially Garpenloff. What if we deal Garpenloff for Naslund? Is that possible? And then we so desperately need Jason Allison. I like Garpenloff, but high 9, I'm worried he's already kind of at his ceiling, right? And if his long-term replacement is Marcus Naslund, where's the complaint? You know? If we can pull this off, we should. We need to add Loney on an expiring deal. We have extra draft picks for next year as well. We'll add the 6th and the 7th for this year. That doesn't go through. Of course, we have 2 seconds. We have 4 thirds for next year. All right, let's take out the 6th rounder this year. Add a 3rd from Montreal. Garpenloff, a 3rd, a 6th, and 2 7ths. Take out the 7th this year. Let's make it Garpenloff, 2 thirds, a 6th, and a 7th for Marcus Naslund. It's going to be a bit pricey. Make it 3 thirds, but it's Marcus goddamn Naslund. 4 thirds? It's worth it. It's going to take a second. We'll use Colorado's 2nd next year, a.k.a. Quebec. Will that go through on its own? No. Let's use the 6th and 7th. It is still going to take at least 1/3. Montreal's. It's going to take 2 thirds. I got a minute and a half. What do you mean time? Could I cheese it and retain on that? You know, that's a fair shout, but he doesn't even make enough to where I think the game would be like, yeah, that's worth it. Garpenloff, a 2nd, 2 thirds, and a 6th for Marcus Naslund. Make it 3 thirds, a 2nd, and Garpenloff for Marcus Naslund. Okay, let's retain on Garpenloff here. If it'll let me, it won't let me because there's no cap. Oh, god damn it. God damn it. Lemelin, thank you very much for the raid. How'd the stream go? Now I'm worried about time. Let's go call a timeout. Goodness. Okay. We can still get this done. We knew this would be a really, wheeling and dealing heavy first year. That is what it is. I want to pull this off without using that 9th pick. And I still think that we can. What if I use Ian Moran? Because I wouldn't mind getting Ian Moran. I wouldn't mind getting Tamer as well. Lemon, thank you. And again, I hope, or I am glad to hear that the stream went well. Just to fill everybody in on what we are doing here on the Xbox Series consoles, Snipe and Score put out his most recent flashback roster based in 1992-93, hence 19-year-old Marcus Naslund. If we could get these two in the deal, that would be sweet. Again, I don't really want to get rid of Garpenloff. I didn't want to get rid of Goudreau either, but it would make sense. AJ, what's up, by the way? Okay. 2nd round pick. Put in the House of Thirds. What do you think? Take out Tamer? Quite close to fair value. Again, you can't retain on anybody because there's no salary cap in the era. I'm willing to give up 2 second-round picks to do this. I mean, a player of market or our own second next year would get it done, which is practically a first, but I'm willing to do it. I'm absolutely willing to do it. I mean, this is going to be a blockbuster trade, but I'm here for it. Garpenloff, 2-3-3-6 for Naslund and Ian Moran. Welcome in, Marcus Naslund. Oh, we're building a dynasty, baby. We are building a dynasty. Shits and giggles. New Jersey. You also have a couple of players here that I'm interested in that you're willing to get rid of. Primarily Brian Ralston, because he can play center, but so can Sergei Brelin. And Stefan Yell, for that matter. Callie Hulse wouldn't be that bad either, but let's just go with those 3. Do I have the ability to land those 3? Even if it takes our 3rd rounder next year. How close are we? It might take that 2nd rounder next year, but man, I'm willing to go all in on trying to build up this team. The trade bell's fucking ringing. We got a trade horn. There it is. Ralston, Brelin. Woo! And we still have picks 7 and 9. Hard trade difficulty, my ass. Let's go. Hey, Jay, that's very nice of you. Whew. Sorry, let me be hype. So, at pick number 7, we now have the ability to get both Adam Deadmarsh and Jason Allison. I'd love to end up with like Miro Shatan, but I'm going to trust... I mean, it's Adam Deadmarsh. Snipe had to have made him good. Come on, Adam Deadmarsh. I'll take it. 70 overall, medium top 6. With Snipe and Truculence. Chef's kiss. Adam Deadmarsh, let's go. And now as long as Ottawa doesn't screw it up for me, and they didn't, we'll also be able to take Jason Allison. That is some wheeling and dealing right there. In less than a calendar year to completely rebuild our prospect pool. And it's only going to get better because I imagine we're still going to be very, very bad next year. That is tremendous. Now, the only question will be, should I have gone after certain other players? But again, I didn't check how good the prospects are. I have no idea. So we'll see if I made the right choice. But look at this now. Look at this. So we still have Urbe in goal. We don't necessarily have like the long-term goalie. But defense now, we've added Chris Pronger to the mix when we already had Ozelinsh, Rathje. Picked up Ian Moran as well, who should be okay, like a third pairing guy. Right wing sides, Falloon, Ralston, Bure, Deadmarsh, McCarty. Obviously, we're looking at Ralston as a center, though. Left side is Naslund, Whitney, and Kozlov, which is outrageous. And then it's center, Jason Allison, not much else yet. If it could be Allison, Ralston, LaPerriere, Yell, that's not that bad. So we are looking pretty good. And again, for next year's draft, we do still have our first and Colorado's second. Obviously, no mid to late picks this year or really next year, aside from the 7th, but that was pretty good. The Carolina Hurricanes / Hartford Whalers take Brian McCabe. It would have been worth it to go for Kenny Johnson instead of McCabe. Johnson, no abilities. Does McCabe? He has seeing eye and tape to tape. The New York Islanders at 11 take Victor Kozlov. About as good as Jason Allison. Just a different style of player. Either way, we were fine. The Buffalo Sabres select, as is intended, Miroslav Shatan. No abilities, though, on Shatan. Calgary's, could you maybe trade for Brodeur? The only way I'd be able to is if he's on the block. Matter of fact, I actually didn't check to see if there are any goalies on the block. Hobby Bulin. We might have to go for Hobby Bulin. Steve Shields isn't bad either. He's dirt cheap. There's Trevor Kidd on Calgary. Mr. O, hey, what's going on, buddy? We got Manny Fernandez out there. Garth Snow, the legend. Roman Cechmanek. Obviously, we're going a long way around to New Jersey. Tommy Salo, Mike Dunham. So yeah, the Devils were not giving up Brodeur. Well, Nikolai Hobby Bulin is out there. And he's not that expensive. I don't think there's any chance in hell we'll have the ability to trade for Calgary's 13th pick. Like, we are... Yeah, we've exhausted our options. But given that we're pretty much out of picks, if we can work out a deal for Hobby Bulin, it would take some more, like, depth picks later in a round, but I think we could make it work. Craigwell's not bad, but now would be a great time to give you up, buddy. Especially if it means getting Nikolai Hobby Bulin. Is this Aaron Ward? It must be. It is Aaron Ward. Shout out to Dan Bilesma down there as well, but... Oh shit, Ward's not even under contract. Bilesma was, though. I'll take Dan Bilesma. The value doesn't even really work. Craigwell. It's a shame. So if we were to use like a fourth, it would take more. But again, if we were to use lower end picks to snipe Hobby Bulin, we'll do just that. Calgary at 13. Select Vinny Prospel. No abilities on him, but solid enough. Tampa at 14. Take Todd Bertuzzi. Need headshot. He's the guy to call. Montreal at 15. Take Ruslan Saleh. Ice Pack and Truck as a defensive defenseman. The Dallas Stars at 16. Kimmo Timonen. We'll take him some time to develop, obviously. Solid two-way. New Jersey at 17. Jamie Langenbrunner. Perfect. Perfect to see Langenbrunner go to the Devils. The Canucks at 18. Darcy Tucker as a Canuck. Sorry to the Leafs fans in attendance. That's a rough one. Chicago at number 19. Take Eric Daze. How perfect. Another guy going to the team that he spent a long time with. I mean, Langenbrunner did play with the Stars a lot, but he's also probably most known for being a Devil, though. You know? Eric Daze to Chicago. Pittsburgh at 20. Take Merrick Malik. He scored a shootout goal once. Don't know if you ever heard. St. Louis at 21. Take Yanni Niinimaa. The Rangers at 22. Alexander Daig. I see what you did there, Snipe. He's worth taking. I did not expect him to be a 79 overall. He doesn't have the crazy high potential, but damn, that's a steal for the Rangers. That's a really good pick. 79, high 9 at 18. That is a really good pick for the Rangers getting Alex Daig. He had a good rookie year, so why not? It makes sense, yeah. I mean, again, it's just a shame, like, you can't set, like, ceiling and floor, right? Because you could have put him at a 79, but then made his floor, like, medium bottom 6. So odds are he'd just, like, decline immediately. The LA Kings take Sammy Salo, adding to their blue line. And the Stanley Cup champion, Boston Bruins. To round out the first round, select Brendan Morrison. So we have no picks left in this draft. We're going to sim through and see what happens. We don't really have the ability to trade back into this round or this draft either, so we'll just go through it and see how it panned out. But Pronger, Deadmarsh, and Allison, 3 picks between 2 and 9. Unbelievable. Plus acquiring Marcus Naslund, Hobby Boolin, Brian Ralston. That was an unbelievable draft for us. So again, that was round number 1. Paul Kariya first overall. Saku Koivu to Philly. Marty St. Louis to Toronto. And again, Christie, a generated player. Round number 2. Is that Mike Johnson or something like that? Yaro Spacek to Toronto. Frantisek Caberlet. Todd White. David Borney. No, number 7's not Rick Nash, but number 8 is Hal Gill. Carlos Scratchins, Brendan Witt, Rob Niedermeyer, Nick Sundstrom, Sammy Kapanen, Andrew Brunette. Get Havlid, Mike Greer to Toronto. Pavel Demitra goes 19th to the second round to Chicago. Must be Nolan Pratt down there. Loxonen. Jamie Allison, I think, at 23. And then hey, there's enough teams you don't have to move the overlay, right? But Metropolitan, Jamie Rivers, Sean Bates, Roy Fitzpatrick, Andy Sutton, Andreas Lilia, Jay Pandolfo. Damn, Tom Marchant, Patrick Lalime, Jocelyn Tebow, Kevin Weeks. The goalies started to go in the third round. Kevin Weeks off to Chicago. Round 4, Martin Gerber to Washington. Cristobal Huey, Greg DeVries to Colorado. Makes sense. Damn, Snipe, you're able to fit a lot of freaking prospects in this. Brian Rafalski. Let me guess, he was a low elite. He goes to the fucking Devils, though, which is perfect. Eric Messier to Boston. That's insane. Huh. There were some surprises in this draft that went lower than I expected. But we went for the super high-end talent at the beginning, rather than trying to find a steal like Rafalski later on. Aaron Downey, Per Svartvedet went 8th. Mark Mowers, Jarkko Ruutu, Jamal Mayers, PJ Stock to Montreal. Okay. Their picks even in the 7th round? Ooh, as a Flyers fan, I know our first round picks back in the NFL will be a Hallmark movie, Slacker film, some Twisted War movie. I mean, that's most prospects if you think about it. Round number 6, John Madden to the Devils. Dude, the Devils ended up with so many dudes who became Devils at some point in their career. Christoph Oliwa was in this draft. Sean Donovan. God damn. God damn. And then round 7, Manny Legacy? God damn. Fair enough. Made everyone who played a game in each draft. Damn, fair enough. That's actually a good way to do it. That's a fair way to do it. That was an unbelievable draft for us. Absolutely insane. And now we have free agency to go through, but this team has already taken such an interesting turn. It's crazy how fast we've kind of turned this around.